It's not a bad view, is it? I know you can barely see me, but anyway, welcome back to Doobrey's Day. Today on Doobrey's Day, we're going to set up an arcade machine in the ManCave. Let's teach you how to do it. Okay guys, let's get into it. First and foremost, I want to thank all of my subscribers. Guys, I wouldn't keep doing these videos and this channel without you. So I've got 148 subs at the moment. I'm just about to hit 10,000 views. So thank you to you all. I really appreciate that. Let's keep it going. If you could share this video or give me some thumbs up, I really would appreciate it. So today we're going to talk about HyperSpin. HyperSpin is the front-end graphical user interface that we'll use to configure our arcade machine. What you can do with this is you can install this onto a computer, something like a Raspberry Pi or something similar, and then you can build actually an arcade machine. Hopefully we'll do that later in a subsequent video. For this set of videos anyway, today's configuring HyperSpin. Tomorrow or the day after we'll be configuring MAME, or multiple arcade machine emulator within HyperSpin. We'll also then configure the controllers, which are going to use Xbox 360 controllers, rig it all together onto the projector up there, and then demonstrate to you how to configure it, how to install it, how to make it work, and then we can play some classic arcade games. Okay, keep watching guys, see you soon. Okay guys, we now have our computer open. We need to go and download the HyperSpin application first. So what we'll do, we'll open up a browser. We'll go to www.hyperspin.fe. First option here is HyperSpin Home. That's where we need to go. So we get the main core piece of software. Brings you to the HyperSpin page here. We need to go to the download section. And inside of the download section, you'll see, I'm going to install this on Windows. You'll see an option in a second for the downloads. We'll click on the Windows download and choose the latest version of HyperSpin. Here we go, so it's now loading. So we want HyperSpin Windows. Click on there. And as you can see, the latest version is 1.33, but you've also got an upgrade here to 1.4.16. So we'll download HyperSpin 1.3.3 first of all. Just click on that and we'll download this file. I'll just save it on the desktop for the time being. And then we'll install, we'll also then download the update and then we'll install both items. So we'll download the zip file because that's a little bit easier for me. As you can see, 459 meg, so it's not small, and that's going to download in 50 seconds. So I'll stop the video there. I'll let this download, and then we'll go and get the next file. Okay, we've downloaded HyperSpin 1.3.3 for install. The latest version of HyperSpin is 1.4.16, so we need to also download that upgrade. So we'll click on there, download that, and save it in the same folder, which is the HyperSpin core directory that I've created on my desktop. So download this file. This will then come down. We'll save it as a zip file. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a delay waiting for this to download, so I won't really wait for that. We'll download it into that directory. So we just click on the download file. We're going to download it to my desktop under HyperSpin Core. As you can see, it's a 1.4.16 upgrade. Just save that. That'll then download to that file directory as well. Let's wait for that to download. Okay guys, so my HyperSpin Core directory here, we've downloaded a HyperSpin 1.3.3 and HyperSpin 1.4.16 upgrade. We now need to move on to RocketLauncher, which is another download that you'll require to get the HyperSpin system working. So type in RocketLauncher, and we want to go to the rlaunch.com website. And in here, we need to go to the download section, which is over here. And we need to download two elements of RocketLauncher. One is the main RocketLauncher executable, so RocketLauncher version 1.2.00 full install at the time of creating this, and we also need the RocketLauncher base media pack. So I'll click on this here, and use the thing got Mega or media file, just use Mega NZ, and then I'll download that to my laptop, and then I'll do the same with the base media pack. I'll do that, then I'll come back to you. So guys, we've downloaded the Rocket Launcher 1.2.00. Now going to get the base media pack, get that downloaded to the computer. Go down to mega.nz again and download this. And hit download and off we go, so that'll download. HyperSpin is the graphical front end of this particular system we're trying to build here. But then Rocket Launcher is actually the guts of the engine that you're going to be using for kicking off the emulators. We'll download that and then I'll come back to you. So guys, now that we've got all the HyperSpin core files, we're now going to install HyperSpin, and we'll start with installing HyperSpin 133, then we'll do the HyperSpin 1.4.16 upgrade, and then I'll show you how to use Rocket Launcher and install that as well. Something to note here is that once you have carried out your install, it's very difficult to move that install afterwards, so make sure that you've taken that into consideration when you go ahead and carry out the install. So some people install it on the C drive, some people install it on an external drive. Decide where you're going to put it right from the beginning. I'm going to keep all the HyperSpin core files back, so in the future if I want to install this elsewhere I can. I'm going to make myself a new folder on the desktop here, just call it HyperSpin, and that's where I'm going to extract my files to. So I'll just open that up, and what I'll do, I'll drag HyperSpin from there into there to start with. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. We'll make a copy of it, leave it the source where it is, and paste that into there, and then I'm going to extract that file. So on here I've got RAR, so just extract the files here. As you see, it'll start extracting it. Once I've done that, then we'll move on to the upgrade. Okay guys, as you can see, HyperSpin 133 has now extracted. I'm going to get rid of that source file, I don't need it anymore in there, just taking up space. What I need to do now is upgrade HyperSpin from 133 to 1.4.16, that's the latest version. So really simply open up the RAR file, and as you can see you've got hyperspin.exe in here. That's the new version, that'll overwrite this version in here. So quite simply you drag and drop it into here, and you'll see it'll slowly extract. And then it is as simple as that to upgrade HyperSpin. So then we'll have HyperSpin 1.4.1.6, just replace the file, installed on my computer. So that's the first bit of HyperSpin installation. The second bit is going to be to install Rocket Launcher. We used to use HyperLauncher, but Rocket Launcher is a newer version of this, and I'll show you that now and how to install that. So let's talk about Rocket Launcher. Okay guys, Rocket Launcher. So if I go up a directory on my desktop here, you can see we've got HyperSpin ready to rock and roll. Now we want to try and keep Rocket Launcher in the same location. So we can either make a new folder here called all HyperSpin or something like that, or we can just extract Rocket Launcher to its own directory in the same location. So that's what we're going to do here. So we'll right click on it, extract to Rocket Launcher, and you'll see it needs a password, and this is really important. So the password from the Rocket Launcher website was www.rlauncher.com. I will put that in the description below, and you'll be able to use that, so you don't have to remember it, will just be there. So that's now going to extract to Rocket Launcher, and then we're going to move the Rocket Launcher folder onto the desktop as well. No need for you to sit and watch that, I'll come back to you in a second. So guys, that's Rocket Launcher extracted. As you can see, all the files are in there. Inside of the Rocket Launcher folder is a media directory, and there's not going to be much in here at the moment. As you add your media to your Rocket Launcher and to your HyperSpin, then that'll amend it. But for the moment, we need some starting positions. So under Rocket Launcher Media, you'll find there's a media directory. Best way to do this is just drag and drop it, but just to show you, inside the media directory is loads more information and loads of backgrounds and artwork, that kind of stuff. So we need all of that inside of our Rocket Launcher directory. So you can just drag and drop that file over there, and it will then overwrite everything that's already there. So it'll actually start making Rocket Launcher look really, really nice. Let's do that, and then I'll come back to you in a second. Okay guys, we've now got HyperSpin installed. We've got Rocket Launcher installed as well in their separate directories, and there's some configuration that we need to do to make this work. If you recall, HyperSpin is the pretty front end, and Rocket Launcher is the actual tool that launches the applications. What we need to do is go into the settings within HyperSpin, find the main settings.ini file and open that up. prior to Rocket Launcher, they used to do something called HyperLaunch, which was the tool to actually launch the various emulators that we're going to use. We need to amend this and tell it not to look for HyperLaunch anymore, but to look for Rocket Launcher. So if you come up to here, which is where our Rocket Launcher is installed, we'll grab Control-C, we'll grab the path to where Rocket Launcher is. Pop that into there, Control-V, and then we'll tell it where actual Rocket Launcher .exe resides. So that's one of the first settings we need to change. The second setting we need to change is to do with Rocket Launcher settings. So pop into the Rocket Launcher, pop into the settings. You've got a generic global emulator setting. It says example, and that is, as the name suggests, an example version of it. If you open it up, you can see there's lots of different emulators in here. We want Rocket Launcher UI to be able to know about the emulators that are there, and the way we do that is just simply by removing the brackets example word at the end. So that's the first part of configuration for Rocket Launcher and for HyperSpin. Okay, that's the basic configuration done for HyperSpin and Rocket Launcher. What we now need to do is just check that Rocket Launcher UI is updated. So the UI is the actual graphical user interface that we will use to configure Rocket Launcher. So if we just start that up, hopefully we shouldn't get any errors, and it will ask us to update itself. Here we go. There will be some updates every time that it starts, for the first few times anyway, until it's downloaded all of the updates that it needs to work correctly. As you can see, it's installing components, so it'll take just a second to get going. Loading modules, and then it should talk about updates in a second. There we go. Do you want to update? Yes, please. Off it goes. It'll try to find all of the updates, so we say check updates. You can see it's going to find the latest version, it's going to get the list. It's fairly quick depending on your speed of your internet connection. 212 files that need updating. Okay, that apply those updates, and that then updates Rocket Launcher, so that'll be updated but not configured. Once we've done this, we'll go back to HyperSpin and we'll give that a try just to make sure it starts up and there's no untoward errors. Once we've done that, the next stage after that is to decide what emulator you want to configure. So we're going to configure MAME, Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. There are other emulators that you can configure through HyperSpin. Some of the arcade cabinets that you see that people have in their houses, and one of the projects that I've got in the back of my head is to actually create an arcade cabinet eventually, is they use HyperSpin at the front end, have all of the emulators on that front end, and then you go off of the emulator into the various games. So you've got things like Daphne, Neo Geo, Nintendo 64, Multiple Arcade Machine Emulator. There's a whole heap of them that you can actually install inside of HyperSpin. You then, from HyperSpin, launch the actual emulator, and then from within the emulator you then load your ROMs, or read-only memory, so they're sort of encapsulated games that you then load into the emulator, which you can then play on your computer. In this particular example, I'm using a laptop. You could do it on that, you could do it on a Raspberry Pi. There's various ways that you can do it. Then that will allow you to play the various games. Later on in this video, I'm going to show you how to rig up your Xbox controllers. In fact, I'll make that a second video, how to rig up your Xbox controllers, and then show you how to configure those Xbox controllers to work with your arcade machine emulator. This is all part of the big ManCave project. So we've got the speaker system now, we've got the projector now. This then adds onto that layer, and this will give us obviously our arcade machine. So when friends come over, we can sit there and we can play classic arcade games that I remember from when I was a kid. So we'll let this finish installing, and the next video that I'll show you in a second will be us starting up HyperSpin just to make sure everything's working. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so we've now updated Rocket Launcher. It went through and installed and updated those particular items. What we've now got to do is tell Rocket Launcher UI where HyperSpin is. So we come across to the Rocket Launcher UI button here, and you've got two items, you've got settings and front ends. It's the front end which we need to change. At the moment, Rocket Launcher is pointing to itself, so Rocket Launcher UI. We need to add HyperSpin to Rocket Launcher. So come down here, click on the plus sign, type in the name, which is going to be called HyperSpin. You have to give it a path to where HyperSpin is located. So we know we put it on our desktop under the HyperSpin directory, and in here somewhere there is the HyperSpin executable. We want this to be auto detect, and we want this as default. So the plugin is auto detect, the plugin is default. We now save this, and as you can see, it appears here as a list of the front end. We now need to change this to be default and active. If I want HyperSpin, I click on these two buttons here, and you can see why we changed the global settings earlier is that it gives me now the global settings of the emulators that are now available. Okay, that's HyperSpin configured through RocketLauncher. Let's now close this, and let's see if HyperSpin is working. We haven't configured the emulators yet or put the ROMs in, but they're configured on an individual basis. But I want to just make sure that HyperSpin is actually working. It should start up, and sound currently isn't being broadcasted, so normally you'd hear sound here. Wait for start, press escape, and there we go. We now have Daphne and PlayStation and 3DO. Remember, this is just the media. This isn't actually the emulators or the ROMs installed at all, but it gives you an idea of what sort of emulators are available for HyperSpin. Now remember that this is HyperSpin. This is the front end of this particular tool, and HyperSpin then uses RocketLauncher UI to launch actual emulators and allows you to access to the ROMs. So you'd come in here, you'd pick one once we've installed the ROM, and then you'd go off and load the various ROMs. So the next stage that we're going to do is configure MAME. As you can see, there's nothing in here at the moment. We would configure MAME, you'd hit enter and it would start up. But in essence, that's the basic configuration of HyperSpin.
Okay guys, I know that's a little bit dry, but that's the first part of 2 or 3 series of videos which is setting up the arcade machine in the ManCave. Hopefully you can follow that and you can get your HyperSpin working with your rocket launcher. The next video, which you're going to post the next day or so, will show you how to configure MAME and potentially show you how to configure the other emulators, setting up your Xbox controllers, and also then working with all of those systems to actually play some classic arcade games. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot guys, bye for now.